We are live. Bobi Gilburd, thank you so much for joining us on the Dark Mode podcast. I'm just
Hello,
going to run
hello.
through. I'm just going to run through a
Hello.
bit of a background, Bobby, if you don't mind. Hope I do this justice. I say that to a lot of our guests, but in this instance, your background is very, very appealing and it is very unique. So, if you would allow me probably a couple of minutes to just run through some of this background. Now, Bobby is the Chief Innovation Officer at Team8, having served in the IDF's elite unit 8200 as a colonel. His time there was over 26 years long. Bobby brings extensive cybersecurity knowledge and strategic acumen to his role at Team8. Leading the Unit 8200's research and cloud divisions, Bobby developed an innate understanding of the myriad of attack vectors across global cybersecurity landscapes. He was awarded the Israel Defense Prize, which is the most prestigious award in Israel's defense establishment, for his unique contributions to the field of cybersecurity. Bobby also holds a Master of Public Administration from the Harvard Kennedy School and a Master of Science from the Technion Israel Institute of Technology. How and when did you fit all of that into this life, Bobby?
Yeah. So thank you. Good morning or good afternoon. Thank you for having me here, and thank you for the warm introduction. And actually, I think every step of my life has made me reach this amazing point that I'm currently at Teammate. And if you want, I can add and say a few words about this amazing organization that I've joined about 7 months ago. So yes, as you mentioned, 26 years of career at Unit 8200. In Israel, we have a compulsory service for 3 years. Um, so most of the young kids and girls that have logic in their mind stayed for 3 years. Others choose to stay longer. Others choose to stay longer for 26 years, but I think it was amazing career. When people ask me what I did in the army, I said that I was allowed to be a hacker with a license. And this is an amazing job. I can't think of any better career. And now in Teammate, as a Teammate Chief Innovation Officer, leading our newest thesis, ideas, building the most successful companies that we can, and basically enjoying life, enjoying tech, and enjoying Israel.
So cool. Can I just say, Bobby, you have probably the coolest title ever, Chief
Mhm.
Innovation Officer.
Yeah, yeah, indeed.
That's very, very cool. Yeah. I'd love
It
to
is
know a
very
little bit
cool.
more about what you do day to day at Teammate as the Chief
Uh,
Innovation Officer and a bit more about, quite an innovative approach to being really central as a BC, as an ecosystem and incubator, as a community around the cybersecurity and AI and cloud landscape. If you could tell us a
mhm.
bit more.
Yeah, indeed. So Teammate is a venture capital, but a special venture capital. The idea is that we not only invest in companies, but we actually build the companies that we then invest in. And we pick the founders, we build the thesis. This is where I fit in. And we merge between a successful team of founders and ideas and thesis and problems and solutions and building successful companies. The place that I come in is in building the thesis on which we build the new companies, hopefully innovative thesis, or it could be innovative solutions, it could be innovative problems in areas that are not marked as problems at all. So my daily work is to survey the landscape, survey the horizon, and try to see where there is a place for new companies. What will the landscape will look like in a couple of years, and what is missing? And the way that we do it is really grounded to earth using an amazing group of over 350 CISOs that we are talking on a daily basis, with about 7 or 8 of which start each conversation like a psych with asking, what are your pain points? What are you missing? So we have a good view of what is missing, and we have a good view of technologies, emerging technologies, and then is where the innovation comes in, just connecting between the pain points and the technology. So this is my work, understand what is coming, what is here, what is available, and building what we call the thesis that consists of the problem and the solution, upon which we build the company and then invest in. Up until now, Team8 has built 17 such companies. The pace is about one or two companies a year. So my job is to look for the best thesis. It's not necessarily the most hype topic, but is the area around which we believe we can build a repeatable use cases, infinite scale. So this is where the innovation comes in. We called it process ideation, and so this is another term. So the I can be standing for the chief ideation officer, because innovating in this field is the ideating in this field is the innovation. So yeah, cool title, but more than that, a very very cool job with an amazing team of people.
Bobby, it sounds like you're ideating tomorrow's problems and developing ecosystems to solve those problems. That's such an exciting place to be. I think that is a really energized market. I'd love to understand how you go from asking CISOs what's missing, taking that nugget, and then going from that to understanding what the problem looks like, not for right now, but for tomorrow and the years to come.
Yeah, so we like to say that there are two type of companies. There are two kinds of problems and solutions: the realistic and the idealistic. The realistic approach is solving today's problem. It can be solving today's problem with some new techniques. For example, solving the data leakage detection can be enhanced using generative AI. So this is an example of an problem that was with us for a long time now, but there are new technology that allows us to solve it. And actually, generative AI can be applied to any problem, cybersecurity detection, anomalies detection, fake detection, etc. The other type of companies are what we call the moonshot or the idealistic problems, in which we actually create the problem space, as you said. And this is the way that we do it, is that we play several steps forward. Okay, for example, now we have this amazing advancement in LLMs with the introduction of GPT 3.5 and GPT-4. So taking forward several steps, what will happen 1, 2, 3 years ahead? What new problems we believe will be created, and then solving them. This is both of these approaches. I think we are mostly, because the CISOs help us build these realistic companies because they assist us with their everyday problem, but we don't give ourselves discounts, and we constantly trying to look several steps ahead. Some of the companies, their play is to solve today's problems, but being able to address new markets. I think one example of the idealistic companies are I will say Duality, for example. Duality is the world leader when it comes to secure multi-party computation. So they assumed, and we see this this is actually happening, that there will be an increased demand for collaboration over private data. Of course, doing such calculations in the cloud and not on-prem increase the risk because there is another party. And they detected this, and they actually solved the problem that I'm not sure that if we were to ask CISOs 3, 4 years ago, would have mentioned this as an everyday problem. Another company is Classic. Classic are building the tools for the enterprises to build upon quantum computing. And of course, quantum computing is something that is not mature yet, but this is looking several steps ahead. And we have problems that new approaches. For example, GEM is a company, is a cloud incident detection and incident response. And we apply advanced technologies, AI, now with the introduction of the uh, natural language based bots for a problem that was with us several years now. So yes, the innovation can be either on the problem or the solution. And again, this is why I think I have the best job in a teammate, the best team.
Are you looking for an offsider over there, Bobby? Let me know when
So
you're ready.
yeah.
Very,
Previ-
very cool.
my previous job, well, I was there for 26 years. So I've liked position. So maybe I will be in teammate for 26 years, but
Oh, yeah. No chance.
the way that this organization, yeah, who knows? The way that this
Who
organization
knows?
yes, and increases, it started from cybersecurity. And then, of course, the introduction of AI and data infrastructure. Nowadays, looking at fintech, digital health, and of course, the intersection between these. We have a lot of privacy issues that has to do with digital health. We have a lot of security issues that have to do with fintech. So the intersection is actually an increase of the problem. And this is why this place is so awesome. Just coming to work and over coffee, building new cool stuff. Actually, when I was considering my next step after I've ended my IDF, my army journey, I've talked with Nadav. Nadav he was by my commander at Unit 200 for several years, and is one of the managing partners in Team8, one of the founders. And I've shared with him that I want to build a company. So his answer was, "Why build one? If you can build three or five, come work with us." And that actually, I believe that this is what this is the feeling, and this is what we are doing. We are building companies on Turbo and having the opportunity to think and to innovate and to see your baby comes into reality with an amazing people. So yes, this is the coolest part of the company building, just thinking about the ideas. And I really feel honored to have this opportunity.
Bobby, I'd probably jump in because I saw Gabe taking about 4,000 notes and she's got about 15 things to launch into. Before she does that, can you help me understand a little bit, and for the community that's listening too, once you decide on a technology, you've understood whether they are idealistic or realistic problem statement. From that point, you decide to invest in them. How much influence do you have over the technology itself and therefore shaping it to the problem statement that you've identified for future use? Do you have that level of involvement with those technologies, or it's very much like you provide the guardrails to support the growth of?
You were asking about the company that we invested or also or those that we build?
The ones that you invest with,
Yeah,
primarily. Yeah, I understand the ones you build are going phenomenally, but the
right.
ones you invest with, more.
Right. So I will tell a couple of words about this investment arm. As I mentioned, we started by having only foundry, only companies that we build, and we it took us several years to understand that the demand from the CISOs is higher than the one or two companies that we can build a year. So this is why we have added a regular investment arm. Up until now, we are invested in about 18 companies in these specific vectors: the enterprise, cybersecurity, and the data infrastructure, fintech, and the digital health. Of course, these are more mature companies, but our involvement is high. It's not as high as it is in the foundry companies, but actually some of these companies sit with us. Even the companies that we invested in are sitting with us in this building. We eat lunch with the founders. We discuss technologies. We discuss gaps. We assist them with validation of new ideas. And in some companies, we actually work together on the technology. So yes, the idea is to work with those companies. It's not as much involvement as we have with the foundry companies, but we would like to be as much interested as possible. We have we have everything that we need in order to do so. We have the tech people, and we have the BD, the strategic research people, and the business development people. So we have what is needed in order to work together with them. And specifically on the tech, we have a strong tech team. And yes, in some of the cases, before demos, before some new use cases, we work together, both ideating, and in some cases, we are actually working over their code base. So we would like to be as much involved in their endeavor as possible. And, yes, if it were to us, we would like to do everything, but we can't do everything. The portfolio is it consists of 35 companies, and we try to detect. And actually, it's the founders do a really good job in understanding what Team8 can provide and approach us, and they're doing they do it on a regular basis. They know what are our strengths and where we can augment them. So yes, we'd like to be as much involved as possible, and it's happening not as much as with the foundry companies, but in the investment companies as well.
Amazing. Gabe, Bobby mentioned coffee over coffee, creating businesses. I feel like that's just you and me all over.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think at this point we're prime candidates, Ben, for the next big venture. If you ask me, we've got lots of ideas. We could share those with you offline, perhaps, Bobby.
Coffee, coffee is the ideation drug.
Yes.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Mhm.
Especially when Ben rolls into the dark mode episode with his second double espresso before
Yeah.
7 a.m. Yeah, I love
There it is.
it.
Because before 7 a.m. is good.
Yeah, for sure. Bobby, I wanted to pick up on two of the key tech trends happening at the moment. You mentioned them a little before when you were in conversation with the CISO community. So it's that iterative process of getting that live feedback in terms of their pain points or problem statements into solutioning is really energizing for me. I think just even being a fly on the wall for something like that would be really remarkable. But particularly, I think ChatGPT and generative AI in general is really just taking the world by storm. Like I personally can't go a day without hearing about it or talking about it, which is also exciting to me because I also love just going deep into those topics of conversation anyways. But you mentioned in particular, data loss as a risk to the enterprise. I'd love
Right.
to understand more, whether it's from that lens from the CISO community as to what that sensitive data or potential IP or code snippets and those risk mitigation conversations around something like data loss prevention as relates to generative AI. And then conversely, I am having conversations in the field at the moment with chief technology officers of some really strategic partners who are advising on this. And a big question at the moment is, how is generative AI really transforming the future of enterprise
Mhm.
security? So we'd love to know your thoughts overarchingly on those.
Right. So the thing with generative AI, one can claim that this is just another step from the attention paper from 2017. But actually, the reality is that the tech community, the engineers, and even the OpenAI people were surprised by how good it is. Just take more data, the same algorithms, take more data and process it, and we have some quite intelligent model. And yes, I believe that this is a huge advancements, even something like the cloud. And the story is also is only the beginning. And every week, every month now, we see another huge advancements. The CISOs are really concerned, and I think this is the hottest topic nowadays about security, privacy, copyright issues when it comes to their enterprise. What makes this situation unique is that even before the C-level executives understood that there is a problem, their employees were already using it widely. So the train is out, even before they have the opportunity to put up a policy or technology. Some organizations, some enterprises have tried to block it. Blocking is not an option because it will just give your organization, give the enterprise a disadvantage when in comparison to other organizations. Everyone is using it, so an enterprise that is not allowing it is several steps behind. And the risk of, I'm putting aside the copyright issues and legal issues. The threat is of people using advanced big prompts and putting their organization's data. This can reach the model, OpenAI or any other model, and then it can affect the model. And later on, when an employee for another company asks a question, he can get the information from the original company. So this currently this is not happening because the model. This is what OpenAI are claiming, that the model is not changed based on the prompt. But this will happen because there is a lot of knowledge inside the prompts, and I cannot imagine a situation in which these prompts will not be used to advance the model. And this is where the greatest potential risk is. Another risk is of people using third-party plugins. For example, there is this cool Chrome extension that makes your slides look good based on the generative AI. So people take their slides with confidential organization data and send all of the data. This goes to a third party. This is not OpenAI. And the third party relays the information back to OpenAI. So now we have the organization's data goes not only to the vendors, but to small third-party companies that hold the organization data. We have detected the urgency, and this is where a team of 80 CISOs from our communities came up together, and they have written a paper. I think it was one of the most uh, um, I think it was one of the most. I'm not sure about influential, but it was the first papers that deals with the risks and guidelines on how to create a policy for organizations when it comes to generative AI risk in the enterprise. So the first stage is to understand that there is a problem. The second stage is to create the policy and education. But now it's the time for the tech. And we see a lot of companies. I think on the Team8’s, we are aware of tens, if not hundreds of teams that are working on this problem, trying to provide the organization with tools to know. The first stage is to understand what data goes out, and this goes to the problem of data leak prevention and detecting leaks. Previously, it was based on signatures, and actually, I believe it didn't work. Now we have an opportunity using generative AI to understand and to detect organizations' IP. So the problem of detecting leaks from the organization, the need for this has increased due to generative AI, but the solution can be augmented based on the generative AI. And this is where we see some companies doing what we call DLP, Data Leak Prevention 2.0, based on generative AI. We see some other tokenization approaches where the confidential data is replaced and then sent to the vendors. But actually, ChatGPT is only one. Nowadays, we see generative AI everywhere. This is Salesforce, Office, and people are not aware that they are setting data because there are no prompts. So the first stage is to allow the organization, the CISO, the executives to understand what data comes out of the organization. So this is one area. And another area that I would mention is that I actually believe that with the increased availability of advanced foundation models, more and more organization will build their own models on top of this, meaning fine-tune their, because previously, if you want to have an LLM, you should train your model for the English language and then for your organization specific contents. And now the foundation is publicly available. So this is why we believe we will see more and more models fine-tuned, tailored for the organization. This raised another concern, which is how one organization fine-tune public LLM over their private data. For example, let's take an insurance company. They have their insurance data, and they want to fine-tune GPT-4 over their data. And this is a problem because the only solution nowadays is to send your private data to OpenAI. And this is another concern that we are seeing, how to use this over private data. And actually, we believe this connects with another area that we were ideating that has to do with AI security. That actually AI, even before generative AI, it creates a new attack surface. So even if the organization is protected against protect the workload and the data, even still there is in new ways to attack the organization. For example, if there is a chatbot, so if one is able just by using legitimate prompt to extract data, so this is called the extraction attack. Another example is the sponge attack, which is a DDoS specifically for AI inference. So there are new attacks with the introduction of AI inference learning. There are new attacks, and there is where we believe there is a need for a new set of security prevention companies. So it's not only the workload and the data; it's also the AI. And this is what we call securing AI. And going back to the fine tune, um, looking ahead 3-5 years, what we believe is that every organization that is using AI will be using a collection of, for example, the chatbot will be based solely on the public LLM. Other models will be completely based on the private data, and the other models will be fine-tuned over the public data. And this integration between the public, the private model, and the hybrid model create an interesting problems where it comes to DevOps and where it comes to security. So this is another horizon that we are looking. It both data infrastructure problem and the privacy issue. So yes, the vast introduction of AI creates demand, which creates a need for protecting this data. And it will be amazing. It's really every day now, just opening the news or opening the Zoom with one of our CISOs, understanding problems.
Oh, yeah, super fascinating. I also want to call out, Bobby, as well. Team8 does have a guide for CISOs, which is
Right.
called CISO's Guide, Generative AI and ChatGPT Enterprise Risks. We will link that in the show notes. I've personally read it. I actually really like the section on the emergence of new enterprise risks as a result of Gen AI. And that's similarly to what you just outlined there, whether that's data loss side, new privacy type considerations, even regulatory, the behavioral injection, threat actor, and a few other things in there mentioned as well. So exceptional guide. I think it also was really timely in terms of the thought leadership Team8 put out as this was really exploding. And I even see and observe today people and CISOs in this local community are still wanting to learn more about this. So I might have that in my back pocket, Bobby, rolling around Australia, handing it out on the streets.
If I may add one note, you said paper, so yeah, we have the Team8 logo, but actually the paper was written by 80 CISOs. This is a collaborative work.
Oh, nice.
CISOs from the
That's
Team8
awesome.
CISO Village. So we were just a facilitator for this. And it was amazing. We just put this link. We started writing our ideas, and every day new CISOs have joined and written their notes. So this was an amazing uh, uh, experience. This collaborative work, and every kind of organization from our village have added their own ideas. So yeah, it was cool process and very cool outcome.
I'm sure you're being very modest there. I know that you had a lot to do with that one, Bobby. I liked it to start. It's actually taking a step back. The document itself is written as a guide, a true guide. And I think that's the key takeaway with there is in the first page or second page, it says key takeaways. And the first dot point is key questions CISOs are asking. I found that piece alone valuable enough. I don't think enough CISOs are asking the questions that are listed in this. And I just want to take a second to read through some of them that are produced in this guide. The first one is, who is using the technology in my organization and for what purpose? The second is, how can I protect enterprise information or data when employees are interactive with generative AI? The third is, how can I manage the security risks of the underlying technology? And the fourth is, how do I balance the security trade-offs with the value of technology, the value that technology offers? I think that's a fantastic summation of questions that CCOs, CISOs, and CIOs alike can ask those questions of their entire organization from board level down to understand the risks associated, and then therefore how to embrace or how to add guardrails or how to legitimize the use of generative AI in organizations.
Yeah, completely agree. I think every organization, every C-level executive must read it, because it's happening in every organization. Even if I cannot think of one enterprise that their employees will not be using this. This is now part of our everyday's work, and everyone is using it. So the awareness is the first stage. The next stage is solving the problem. Now that we understand it, and this is where the tech comes in, and we will see a lot of companies in this area in the following month or years.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Sorry, Gabe, you go.
Do you want to just make a comment there, Ben? Because I'm going to switch straight into the mind-bending world of quantum.
Yeah, that's where I have to put on my glasses to look smarter. Yeah, I just wanted to add in that. Like, I agree with your points, Bobby. I really implore people. We will make sure that report is available, or the guide is available, because I implore people to read that. I think it's fascinating, even if you are not at sea level. It's a fascinating read to understand how it is impacting organizations and how you can assist in the embrace or the legitimization of generative AI in the organizations. Over to you, Gabe. Quantum, I'm just going to see myself out the door.
What?
Quantum, where do we start? Actually, interestingly, I had a conversation this morning with one of our team members on quantum.
One of your teammates?
Space. My teammates. Exactly. Yeah, like what you did there, man. That was a great dad joke from you. You're getting funnier. You must be hanging out with me more. Bobby, so I just love to get your thoughts. You actually mentioned earlier, as you were giving us an overview on Team8 and the CISO Village, all the things that you're engaged with every day. But what I understand in Classic, is that one of the Team8 ventures
Yeah,
you
this
were
is one.
alluding to?
This is one of the
Yeah, one of the
funds
ventures.
that we invested in. So the thing about quantum, I will go one step further. Every computers that we have today can be a laptop, it it can be a mobile phone, and it can be the oven. Everything is based on the same model, the Turing model. So this is the only type of computing. It can be faster or slower, but the theory behind it is different. Quantum, the potential of quantum is mind-blowing because this is a new type of machine. It's not only stronger, faster, but it can actually solve problems that we cannot solve today. It's not that we cannot solve today, it will take us a lot of time, but it can solve problems that we cannot solve today because this is different type of computing. It's not a Turing machine, it's different machine. In order to build this, it's basically about physics, quantum physics. And here we have a lot of amazing people. Some of them are Israelis in the Weizmann Institute. Some of them are good friends of mine that are working hard on this problem. Now, it will take some time. It can be a lot of time before this we will be able to build a quantum computers that will actually replace our CPUs. Uh, um, um, this is when this will happen, and there are a lot of problems that prevents us from a lot of issues that prevent us from reaching this. That has to do with physics. That has to do with how you read the results without affecting the results. Issues that has to do with reading the results with errors. So all of these are from the physics department. It will take some time before quantum computers will replace today's the CPUs. So this is the very far horizon. Some even say that this is a science fiction. However, when this will happen, a lot of things will happen. For example, our exchange right now is encrypted using nowadays crypto. So some of these crypto algorithms it will be possible to crack them with a quantum computer. But this is the long future. It can be the very long. Before that, there are very interesting areas in which quantum computers in their current stage can be relevant to today's problems. For example, the problem of reading the results, even though it comes out noisy, it seems that this is a good fit for AI, for the way that neural networks work. So there, we started to see new areas, new ideas that are not, okay, let's build the perfect computer that will replace the CPU, but the specific problems in which the current state of quantum research can actually solve a specific problem. So it's not solving all the problem. It's not cracking today's crypto, but solving problems. So this is a good news because it will allow us to do things faster, even dramatically faster. And again, here the intersection between quantum and AI is mind blowing. This is an area that we are starting to see some applications around. A lot of work that is done in the academy in this area. But my take here is that it will take some time, a lot of time before the risks will come in the wall. And even then, when the risks come through the wall, and of course the risk that everyone is talking about is with now with today's encryption being cracked, even then we have a solution for this. It's called the post-quantum cryptography. Post-quantum cryptography are encryption algorithms that even a quantum computer cannot crack. And we have these and algorithms nowadays, and a lot of companies are starting to replace the encryption with this crypto. So my take here and my, if I should sum it in one word, is don't panic. There is no need for panic. Actually, the horizon is good. I see only advantages, and the tech community is taking it in a responsible way. So this is something that we should praise. And everyone that makes any decision that is based on quantum computing should be aware of the timeline. of the timeline. Some people, and again, if you are concerned about encryption algorithm being broken, it's not next year. It's not 5 years ahead. It will take some time, a lot of time. You should ask the physicians here. So my take for the CISOs here is be aware of the risks. There is a lot of panic that is created without understanding, because if you will go, the hype has nothing to do with the advancement in the physics. These are physics problems, and the hype, based on the hype, if one will read the news, you can think that the quantum computer is available to mass purchase today. This is not the situation. So this is an interesting thing to follow. It's again mind-blowing, because everything that we learn our kids that has to do with computers and algorithms, this is different model of algorithms. It's great living in this area, but again, no reason for panic.
Quantum computing is in its next evolution, and I just found the brightness button on my laptop.
You were going a little dark mode there for a moment.
Yeah.
It's good to have you back.
Yeah.
Actually, dark mode, I think it's a term that comes from the quantum and optic physics. So
Oh,
yes.
nice. Good plot twist there. Bit of Inception.
plot
See, that is why you're the chief innovation officer, right there.
Cheap information officer right now.
Ideation. Top one.
I think you need a falsing.
Too good. Bobby, just to round out that last bit, how would you summarize that intersection of AI and quantum for everyday simplicity to try and understand that?
Yeah, again, I think the potential here, if it works, there is the resource that will be missing the most is the compute that is needed for the AI learning and inference. This goal, that what we call the GPUs, this is something that I'm not sure it is sustainable. The amount of queries and models that we want to train with the ability and hardware available. So the quantum and the uh, optics, physics have a great potential to create huge advancements in the areas in where we use these GPUs, the hardware that is used for building the model and to inference. So stronger stronger hardware for AI allows us to train over much larger amount of information. It's called much larger amount of parameters, and GPT is said to be trained over a huge portion of the internet. We can add books and TV and radio and images. So the amount of information is endless. And what prevents us from doing so is the compute. And a quantum has some potential in allowing us to build more smarter models built on all more and more information, and have the inference running faster. So yeah, this intersection when quantum, I will say no need for panic. Look for the potential, and yet there is an interesting potential in the intersection between those areas: AI learning, building huge LLMs, and quantum and optics physics.
I know where I'm putting all of my money, and that is to the chip manufacturers of quantum. Who's leading the race? Not NVIDIA, is IBM, surely.
Yeah, actually, all of the chip vendors are putting some efforts in this research. It's still a research. It's not manufacturing, not new manufacturing. It's about solving problems that has to do with optics, quantum practicals, reading the results. The research is mainly done on academic institutes, but yes, Intel, everyone nowadays is wants to be there when the advancements will take place. And
$7.40 if anyone wants an investment. That $7.40 is up for grabs.
You got $7.40, Ben?
Yeah, the last interest rate rise, that's sort of hit pockets. So $7.40, I know that's a large amount of cash.
Ah,
Too good. Oh, amazing. Anything else you want to ask Ben as we wrap?
I have
That's it. This has been
45
really.
things that I've taken down, but there's probably another episode in the page of notes that I've taken here, Bobby. So
Or actually, I wanted to say, it came to me just then. I would love to see a CISO guide on the quantum opportunity.
yes,
yeah, actually, we have the huddles. Huddles we are meeting about once every 2 months or so virtually with the CISOs. And actually, I'm now building, I'm considering this a topic for one of the next huddles that we have. Just give a one-on-one on quantum physics and then understanding the gaps and talking about the potentials. We have classic here. So we have some world leaders when it comes to quantum. And yes, this is an emerging concern. And as if ChatGPT, not the same pace, not the same timeline. But yes, this is a concern. This is something that we are considering having a huddle on maybe paper. It's a good idea.
Mm.
I do
Yeah,
have one
awesome.
actually that's just come as a result of that question. Is in the question between realistic and idealistic when you're creating or innovating, is quantum computing front of mind as you're ideating those problems?
Yeah, of course, this is the idealistic group of companies because it's not a pain point, a realistic pain point of any system. No one will put money. Most CISOs will, their first problems to solve are more realistic problems that to do with their workloads and data. And this is idealistic because we assume that something will happen in the physics, in the chip manufacturers, and then the problem will. So yes, we are betting on what will happen and when. So yes, this is part of the idealistic thinking. And again, we like to solve both. I like to sell both the realistic and idealistic. And yes, this is the result of one of our latest investments. Again, classic. Every company that we invest in is we are using the power of the foundry team in order to decide on every investment. So yes, every investment, even though this is not a company that we have built, is based on thesis that we believe in. And if we are not believing a thesis, we just not want to make the investment. So having this quantum computing company in our portfolio is a result of the ideation, of course.
I love that approach. I really do.
Mhm.
Bobby, if a Aussie CISO down under or any of the dark web community wanted to get involved in Team 8, potentially the CISO village, anything like that, is there opportunities to engage or partner or be involved in the community? How is the best way for us to get more of the Team 8 goodness?
Of course. So if there is any such say so, you are more than welcome to give him my phone number and my email. We are really keen on extending our community of CISOs. We have a good representation from the US and the EU, and we are be more than welcomed to extend to other areas. Um, because the problems, some of them are similar, some areas the problems are different, and the way to do it is to just drop an email to any teammate member. This is thing that is really important to us. I think that if I should summarize, if I should pick one thing that makes teammate that creates a unique advantage for teammate is this community, and we do a lot in order to keep it a community, not commercialize it, keeping it purely about the value for the community. And we'll be more than glad. I think just everyone, if every teammate member will be happy to have a phone call and even during the night and to make an introduction and onboard the new members to the village. More than welcome to connect with any teammate member. I will take it on myself to be responsible for this onboarding, and we have amazing people that will take together with he or she, just understand their needs, their problems, their industry, and connect them to the community in order to provide as much value as we can. This is everything that has to do with providing value to the CISOs.
If you can't find a teammate member, feel free to reach out to Gabe and I, and we'll be sure to put you in touch as well.
Okay.
So please reach out.
If you want a teammate email, just let me know.
Fantastic.
Nice. We'll have to fly you down, Bobi, to Australia. Post
Yeah,
you
this is a
in.
long flight. It's a long
Yep.
flight. I think it's 22 hours. This is a long flight.
Worth it. Worth it.
I was in Sydney during my studies, and the Technion I was presenting in the conference. It was in 2003. So yeah, long time, 20 years.
20 years, June. Yeah. You can visit the most beautiful harbour, best place in the world to live, known as Sydney.
It was amazing.
Lightly fed up here.
I actually took a picture of the Uluru that won photos, contents in one of the biggest Israeli newspaper back then.
Oh,
So
Wow.
this image, yeah,
Congratulations. Nice.
a usual good old film camera, and this is amazing picture with the sun behind Uluru.
that's fantastic. Did you get to climb Uluru, Bobi?
Yeah, I did.
Do you know you can't do that anymore? So you were
Why
one of the last few people to be able to do that.
Where? When?
Yeah,
When did it happen? When did it happen?
They stopped that, I believe, last year or the year before. It wasn't too long ago, to preserve the history of the indigenous
Wow,
significance to
amazing.
Uluru.
Phew, okay. Interesting.
Very cool.
Really feel honored to have this opportunity. Wow.
Bobi, thanks so much for joining us on Dark Mode. As always, whenever I talk to any of the crew from Team8, I always learn something. As you mentioned earlier, it's all about giving value. So you have certainly provided us with a ton of value in this conversation today. So I just want to thank you again for your time, Bobi.
Thank you very much. It was fun, and have a great day. Looking forward to talk more.
Thanks, Bobi. As always, thanks, Gabe.
Thank you, Bobi. Yeah, thank you, guys.
If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe to our YouTube channel or leave us a rating on your favorite podcast platform. See you on the next episode of Dark Mode.